Have you ever struggled with what seems like a failure and attempt to convert it into an opportunity, a lesson, a life lesson? Hi, my name is Ken Coscia, the founder of the Trust Your Intuition Academy, as well as serving as the lead trainer and international training director for the Silva Method. Thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. I'm excited to share this with you because it's inevitable, isn't it, that when we have high aspirations, or even maybe low aspirations, invariably, it's inevitable, isn't it, that we're not going to hit all our marks, that we're going to maybe stumble, be challenged, maybe even struggle, and maybe even screw up and fall flat on our face, crash and burn. It's just the way it is, isn't it? Have you been through it yourself? Even the most fortunate of men and women, with all their training, all their skill set, all their background, even all their money, will tell you all the stories of life lessons. And before you bail on me, I'm not going to go through all the platitudes, because you've read the platitudes and you know the stories. History is full of them, right up to the present moment. When we, for example, one quick one, Harry Potter, J.K. Rowling, 12 times her manuscript was rejected. And interestingly enough, the very first publishing house wound up being the publisher of the book. And initially they told her she should stay doing what she knows, being a homemaker. Talk about insulting and talking down to somebody, my God. Well, we know the history. She's become one of the richest women in the world. And she's had how many follow-ups to Harry Potter, and they become movies? Well, what keeps people like that going? What keeps you going? What keeps me going to help us tolerate the uncertainties, to tolerate the challenges, to get up in the morning and stay motivated even under adversity, even when we just keep hitting that inevitable wall? So let's be clear. It's there. It happens to all of us. And I know because I've been through it myself. I've had a near 50-year career. 5 decades is a long time. Some of you weren't even alive then. And it hasn't been all wine and roses. I started way back in 1971. If you know my story, you know that I was able to use the tools I learned in the Silva Method to go from flunking out of college to nearly straight A's, graduating cum laude. I then got over my headaches without drugs. I then learned how to improve my health, my mental makeup, my personality. I overcame some anger issues. And what else? I became a Silva instructor. But I got to tell you, initially I went in like with tunnel vision. I was so high on the moment and wanting to help humanity and help the world. And I got so excited thinking, can you imagine the possibilities when people can truly take charge and take control and take command of their lives? And when people can get to the truth and awaken their intuition? And when people can really navigate life more effectively? Wow, what that would do for you and your life and your community. I mean, that really got me going. It's like I found what I was always looking for, but I didn't know what I found. Now, I'm telling you this for a reason, because I was first hired by a director in the Boston area who wanted to be more of an administrator. And I was a full-time student, so it was perfect fit, because he did all the business, his organization did all the behind the scenes, all the logistics, all the preparation. All I had to do was be prepared, and I would come on my days off, weekends, or evenings and teach classes. And I would have done it for free. I mean, I had this mentality at the time, almost like a missionary complex. I mean that sincerely. I became the director of their graduate organization. They offered me a stipend. I said, whoa. I mean, don't get me wrong. I was thrilled. I was happy to accept it. But that's not what motivated me. So I did this for not quite 2 years, and then someone left the Hartford, Connecticut area, and they needed someone to fill his shoes, and I was asked, would you like to go on your own? Would you like the opportunity to have your own business? Oh yeah. I mean, I jumped at it. I knew nothing about where I was moving to, but I jumped at that. And what happened was I found myself so in love with the program, so in love with delivering it, and so passionate that I had unrealistic, magical thinking, unrealistic expectations. And I can remember often when booking a venue, when hiring a printer. Back then we didn't have the internet like we have now, computers, and a mailing house to send out our newsletters and so on and so forth, and the quality of the paper. I went as first class as I could, thinking, well, that's okay, 1 student, 2 students, 1 more here, 2 more here, we'll pay for it. Now, you know where I'm going with this? 6 months later, I nearly went bankrupt. My father had to lend me thousands of dollars just to pay bills. I had to then subsidize my income temporarily, waiting tables, while I corrected the mistakes and learned the lessons. And I will tell you, all over through these decades, that has been, well, not always, but periodically, once in a while has popped up, where things happen unexpectedly. Things happen in the environment or in the world that's beyond our control, and we need to adapt. Even now, the way we deliver classes, the whole personal development field has changed dramatically from when I started. So you got to reinvent yourself and learn new skills and adapt to the changing times. And that's not always an easy task. So I'm here to tell you, can you relate? Have you been through this? It's a lifelong process. So I urge you, here's a takeaway: be patient, trust yourself. Now, just not sit back on your butt, but what happens is you begin to realize you may need more training, you may need help, you may need coaching, you may need to study more, whatever it is, to help you get past that challenge. So it's not just going to happen poof, and you know that. Of course you do. So how do you convert then what seems like a failure and the feeling of shame and the feeling of I'm not good enough that goes along with it, and the feeling of lack of confidence that can go along with it, and really be our demise? And if it's not challenged, if it's not stopped, if it's not held, even if you're meditating, you've had trouble meditating and making it part of your daily practice, and you're hitting some walls and difficulties, you really do need to make the time and really do need to support yourself, because it's going to happen. So whether you want to be building a business, increasing your sales, improving your meditation practice, improving the quality of your health, whatever it might be, these are 5 questions I want you to write down and that you can ask yourself. These are the very questions I have learned and used myself, have used. These are the very questions I teach my premium coach clients whom I mentor, who pay me anywhere from $500 to $1,000 a month, so that we work together, week after week. So question number 1, most important, what you want to begin with, and I'll frame it as a question. What is your purpose? What is it you want to accomplish? What is it you're aspiring to? What is it your mission? You say, I want to make a difference. Okay, well, what difference do you want to make? How will you know you're making a difference in the world? How will you know you've got an outstanding product or service? Maybe you want to contribute to helping the homeless, feeding more people, educating young people more effectively, more efficiently. Maybe you want to work as a trainer yourself, a coach. Whatever it might be, get clear about that in the framework of a big picture. In other words, your big why, as Simon Sinek would say. What's your big why? Then, as you move through the inevitable ups and downs that we all go through, remember that. We all go through it. Even the multi-billionaires will tell you their stories. Even the most successful people we all admire go, whoa. We admire them for their accomplishments. And we admire, I hope, what they've learned. Because when you hear them, you get up close to them, maybe read their autobiographies, you find that, boy, it hasn't been all wine and roses for them either. So these are questions that possibly you've asked or they've asked. So number 2 is, when you're in a struggle, a challenge, a difficulty, you're falling on your face and you feel like you can't get up, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? So threefold. What can I learn about myself? And often what we learn is, for example, when I first started Silva as a trainer, I shook like a leaf. My heart, I thought it would pop out of my chest. I went dry. I couldn't talk. I freaked out. I blanked out. Clearly, I needed help with public speaking. I needed to overcome that fear of public speaking. I needed to get comfortable with being myself and bringing my authentic self forward. And that took what? Time and practice. Now I mentor people to do the same. I'm responsible to certify in our global institution people who want to do what I do, and they want to bring it to their country, their community. So what can you learn about yourself? Your strengths, your weaknesses, where maybe do you need help? Ask for the help. What can you learn about this situation? You may be working in a situation that's just beyond your control. The brand is damaged beyond repair, or the organization is unethical and you're not in alignment with their values. You hear what I'm saying? Or maybe it's economic conditions or environmental conditions. Not making excuses. I'm saying we need to have an assessment of the current reality so that we can adjust our sails, so to speak. In other words, these questions will put you in the driver's seat of your life. Instead of being a passenger watching, whims and moving along, you got to take charge and be more assertive. Still on question 2, what can you learn about the people you have to work with, teach, be a part of? You might have an overly demanding supervisor or boss. You might have someone in a leadership position who's influencing you and your organization you're a part of that's making horrible decisions that's hurting the brand. What are you going to do about that? Sometimes you do need to pack up and leave. Or sometimes you need to make some adjustments in your approach, in your own strategy, to stay true to your higher purpose, to stay true to your mission, to your purpose. Very important, because you can't change people, and you know that. And we have no right to change people. The question is, can you live with it? Can you live with their idiosyncrasies? And can you change yourself in such a way that you work more effectively with them? You don't have to like it, you don't have to accept it, but you do need to, in some situations, learn to work with them better. Question number 3. Again, write this down. When you experience an adversity or a challenge or a setback, ask yourself, what can I do to add more value here? What can I do to add more value to my product, to my service, to my seminar, to my video, to whatever it is you're doing? And it's good to write it down. It's good also to reflect in a quiet way, center yourself. If you're a meditator, in a meditation. Question number 4, very important one. When you're working with other people, when you're part of an organization, part of a team, and especially if you're not the mover and the shaker, meaning the boss, calling the shots, you need to ask, are their actions, is it what they're asking me to do, is it in alignment with my highest good? Is it in alignment with my values, with my moral compass? If no, you're going to have a lot of dissonance, what in psychology we call cognitive dissonance, and it's going to suck the life out of you. And you're going to not want to go to work, you're going to dread it, and it's just going to get worse. It's like investing with your values and putting your time, your energy, your money in organizations and situations and opportunities that you value, that are in alignment with your mission, your purpose. Very important. I mean, I'm asking it quickly. This is something to reflect on. This is something with pencil and paper to journal. And last question, number 5. Sometimes one of my favorites, if you've really hit that wall, or if you've fallen off, out of the zone, so to speak, off the mark, ask yourself, how can I turn this around? How can I turn this around? Or is there any less negative way to look at this? How can I turn this around? In other words, what strategies, opportunities, lessons? And you get ideas, trust them. And if you're conscious of your intuition, trust it. Learn to develop your intuition, awaken it so that you're trusted, because oftentimes you get ideas and you're not sure sometimes where they're coming from. So questions, powerful questions like this can really elicit a lot of ideas, information, innovations. I hope you find this helpful. Please, I ask you just two favors. Can I just ask you a favor? One is, please comment below. Let me hear. I'd also like to know, how can I serve you better? What other topics? Or do you have other questions? I will check the comments and answer as best I can. And if you're finding this of value and you think, or you know others who could also find it of value, please share it with them. Share it. I'd like to get my word out there. I'd like to introduce more and more people to this and see if we're a fit and how we can help each other. So remember, guys, I thank you for being here, that you are far more than what you appear to be. In fact, you are better.